The novel is set in a dystopian future where the world is divided into three superstates: Oceania, Eurasia, and Eastasia. Oceania is governed by the Party, led by the mysterious Big Brother. The Party exercises total control over all aspects of life, including thoughts and actions. Oceania is characterized by perpetual war, extreme poverty, and a complete lack of personal freedoms. The omnipresent surveillance and brutal repression create a society where dissent is nearly impossible. The protagonist, Winston Smith, works at the Ministry of Truth, where his job is to alter historical records to fit the party's propaganda. Despite outwardly conforming, Winston harbors rebellious thoughts against the oppressive regime. Winston's job involves erasing and rewriting history to align with the party's current narrative, which makes him increasingly aware of the regime's manipulative tactics. His internal struggle and growing disillusionment drive the narrative forward. The party employs extensive surveillance through telescreens, thought police, and informants to maintain its grip on power. Individuality and free thought are brutally suppressed, and language is manipulated through newspeak to eliminate rebellious thoughts. The constant surveillance creates a climate of fear and self-censorship, while newspeak is designed to limit the range of thought by simplifying language and eliminating words associated with rebellion. The party's slogans, "War is peace," "Freedom is slavery," and "Ignorance is strength," encapsulate its use of contradictory propaganda to control and manipulate the population's perception of reality. These slogans are examples of doublethink, where contradictory beliefs are accepted simultaneously, ensuring that the populace remains confused and compliant. The slogans serve to reinforce the party's control by distorting reality and suppressing critical thinking. Winston begins to secretly rebel by starting a diary in which he writes his true thoughts about the party and Big Brother, an act punishable by death. This diary represents Winston's first step towards self-expression and resistance, providing him with a private space to articulate his dissent and explore his own identity. The act of writing down his thoughts is both an act of rebellion and a desperate attempt to preserve his sanity. Winston enters into a forbidden romantic relationship with Julia, a co-worker who also despises the party. They rent a room above a shop in the Prole district to meet in secret. Their relationship symbolizes a form of resistance against the party's suppression of personal connections and emotional bonds. The secrecy of their meetings and their shared disdain for the party deepen their commitment to challenging the regime. Winston and Julia believe they are not alone in their dissent and seek out the Brotherhood, a supposed underground resistance movement led by the party's enemy, Emmanuel Goldstein. The Brotherhood represents the hope for organized resistance and the possibility of overthrowing the party. Their belief in the Brotherhood fuels their rebellion and provides a sense of purpose in their struggle against the regime. Winston and Julia are approached by O'Brien, a high-ranking party member who pretends to be sympathetic to their cause. He gives Winston a book supposedly written by Goldstein that explains the party's methods and motives. O'Brien's apparent support and the book's revelations intensify Winston's hope for change, making the betrayal all the more devastating. O'Brien's manipulation illustrates the party's ability to deceive and control even those who believe themselves to be in opposition. The book reveals the true nature of the party's power, detailing how it perpetuates endless war to keep the populace in a constant state of fear and dependence, thus ensuring its own perpetual dominance. The book explains that the party's control is maintained through the deliberate creation of societal instability and the manipulation of reality. This understanding deepens Winston's awareness of the extent of the party's tyranny and the futility of resistance. Winston and Julia are betrayed by Mr. Charrington, the shopkeeper, who is actually a thought police agent. They are arrested and taken to the Ministry of Love, where they are brutally tortured and brainwashed. Their capture highlights the omnipresence of the party's surveillance and the ruthless efficiency of its enforcement mechanisms. The torture at the Ministry of Love is designed to break down their resistance and reprogram them to conform to the party's ideology. Winston is subjected to the ultimate torture in Room 101, where he faces his greatest fear, rats. Under extreme duress, he betrays Julia, begging for her to be tortured in his place. Room 101 represents the party's ultimate weapon for breaking down individual resistance by exploiting personal fears. Winston's betrayal of Julia reflects the complete destruction of his rebellious spirit and his surrender to the party's control. Broken by torture, Winston is released back into society, now a loyal and obedient party member. He has been completely reprogrammed to love Big Brother and accept the party's version of reality. Winston's transformation underscores the party's ability to erase personal identity and reshape individuals into compliant followers. His previous resistance is obliterated, leaving him a hollow shell of his former self. Winston meets Julia again, but their mutual betrayal has destroyed their bond. Both are now hollow, compliant shells of their former selves, incapable of defying the party. Their reunion is marked by a profound sense of loss and disillusionment. The emotional and psychological impact of their betrayal reflects the party's success in destroying personal connections and loyalty. The novel ends with Winston fully accepting and loving Big Brother. His rebellious spirit has been utterly crushed, illustrating the terrifying extent of the party's power to control and reshape individuals. Winston's final acceptance of Big Brother signifies the complete triumph of the party's ideology over individual thought and resistance. The novel closes with a chilling depiction of totalitarian control and the erasure of personal autonomy. 1984 explores themes of totalitarianism, surveillance, censorship, and the manipulation of truth. It serves as a powerful warning about the dangers of unchecked political power and the loss of individual freedoms, remaining relevant in contemporary discussions about privacy and state control. The novel's depiction of a dystopian future continues to resonate as a cautionary tale about the consequences of authoritarianism and the importance of safeguarding personal freedoms and democratic values. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this content and are interested in learning. Hope to see you in the next Clarifying Classics book summary.